Good morning, students. In everyday life, we observe many situations like birds flying, fish swimming, and blood flows through our veins in the body. And in some of the cases, the object is lying at a particular position and not changing its position for longer time. So, some of the object like bird flying, fish swimming, and flowing of blood through the veins are the examples of some movement, and that movement is considered to be the state of motion for that particular object, as well as if the position of the object do not change with respect to the time, then it will be considered in the state of rest. So object can be only in two states: either it will be in the state of rest or it will be in the state of motion. In the whole universe there are two possible states for any of the object: either it will be in the state of rest or it will be in the state of motion. And motion means if the position of the object is changing from time to time, then it will be considered in the state of motion. So motion can be straight line if an object is moving along a straight line, and it can be a circular path if the object is moving in a circle. An object can also be considered in the state of rotatory motion if it rotates about a particular axis, or it can be a vibrating motion also, like the movement of pendulum, simple pendulum, movement of pendulum. Then can you tell me whether the walls of a classroom are in the state of rest or in the state of motion? In which state they are? Obviously, your answer should be they are in the state of rest. They are not moving. Okay? So, the motion of the object can be uniform as well as non-uniform. If the object is moving or covering same amount of distance after every interval of time, or if it covers equal amount of distance in equal interval of time, then it is said to be in the state of uniform motion. And if the object is not covering equal amount of distance in equal interval of time, then it is said to be in the state of non-uniform motion. Okay, so we come to know another new term, that is distance. Distance is, there are two terms: one can be distance, other can be displacement. Two seems to be almost similar, but technically they are totally different terms: distance and displacement. First, we will learn about distance. Distance is the total path covered by an object. Okay? Total path covered by an object is known as distance, or it is the total path length. Okay? Distance is a scalar quantity. Okay? Scalar, another new term for you. Scalar is that only depends on the magnitude of the object, magnitude of the path covered. Okay, it will not consider any direction. Okay, so distance is a scalar quantity and it is defined as the total path covered by the object. First thing. Okay, then another term is displacement. Displacement will be the difference between final and the initial position. Okay, displacement can be the difference between final and the initial position. Got it? If an object starts moving and it comes back to the same point, then its displacement will be, as I told you, it is the difference between final and the initial position. It came back to its initial position, so its displacement is 0. Okay, but in this particular case its distance will not be 0. Okay, distance, I told you, it is a scalar quantity. Displacement, it is a vector quantity. Okay, vector is that depends on the magnitude as well as the direction of the object of motion also. Okay, so you need to know the difference between the distance and the displacement. First difference will be their definition. In distance column you need to write it is the total path length. In case of displacement, it is the difference between final and the initial position. Got it? Second difference will be, in case of distance, it is a scalar quantity. In case of displacement, it is a vector quantity. And the third difference will be, if the motion is straight line, both will be equal. Distance and displacement will be equal. Okay, another difference we will talk about. Distance covered by an object will never be 0. But the displacement can be 0 also. Distance covered by an object will always be positive, but the displacement can be positive, 0 and negative also. Okay, got it? So we will recap what we studied. We discussed about the concept of motion, rest, types of motion also. Straight line, straight line motion will be your one-dimensional motion. Okay, circulatory motion, rotatory motion, vibrating motion. Okay, then we discussed about the concept of uniform, non-uniform motion, and we also discussed about the two important terms, that is distance and displacement. So revise all the concepts and write down in your notebook also. Okay, thank you so much. Have a good day.